Hello, everybody. I'm still trying to work out how to not look at the mic crooked. So, hey, hey, Soul Tribe, good morning, good evening, buenos dias, buenas noches, buenas tardes. That's all the languages I have. Yeah, welcome. Today's wisdom rant is going to be about these stages of life that we don't talk about, that come up. And, one of them we could say is puberty, as an example, that nobody tells you is going to be like challenging. And, by the way, my name is Randy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is where I go on fun little rambles to give you some insight, wisdom, knowledge, or hopefully something in your life that will help you in some way, shape, or form. And, if not, maybe just entertain you. I'm rocking a cockatoo today. Thank you. Thank you. I'm really starting to love it. Um, it's been a journey going from super duper long blonde hair to bald for about 4 months there, and now I'm going through puberty, which is why this topic feels so good to bring forth into this space today. Excuse me. I'm gonna try not to sniffle or cough into the mic. I've been, yeah, weaning out this head cold for about a while. Going through the upgrades, we could say. As I like to call it, spirit divine intervention comes in to give me a little purge every now and then and remind me to rest. So let's roll. Grab yourself a blankie, a tea, a juice, I don't know, a smoothie. Make yourself comfortable. And yeah, come on this journey with me. Let's frickin' dive in. So yeah, let's start with that. Let's start with puberty. Um I don't know how many of you had like supportive parents or a supportive household that allowed you to go through the stages of puberty. I don't know any household that has ever, and as a teenager, you're tired. You want to sleep all the time. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to go to school. You sleep all weekend. You don't even want to go outside. And I just want to acknowledge like how actually hard of a transitional point in life that is going from child to young adult, or whatever we want to call that. um because I don't find that it's something that's talked about much, if at all. Maybe I'm sure we could find some YouTubes about some information about like what is puberty, and maybe there's like some holistic people out there that are giving it some conversation and acknowledgement and just information. And um yeah, it feels one, necessary to bring forth into this space, because one, I feel like I'm navigating puberty with my beautiful hair, as it's going through like very awkward growing stages. But then I also recognize I'm also going through the awkward growing stages of this space and my YouTube channel. I'm going through the awkward growing pains of just life in general, and I want to bring some awareness to the fact that these parts of our lives, whether it's puberty or um, another type of life transition, or, even being a young child, a 4-year-old, a toddler, these parts of ourselves that maybe didn't get acknowledged and capable, or had like the safe space to express. Um, sorry, I'm saying like a lot and it's really throwing me off because I'm hyper aware of it and I'm making my greatest effort not. So these parts of ourselves are coming up or do come up at other later times in our life and we're not aware of that. We're not aware that hey, one day your teenager is going to peekaboo midlife and you're just going to feel like you need to go through puberty all over again. And so that's why I'm talking about it is because that's what I'm going through. And this part of myself, we could call it teenage Randy, just wants to like I did it again. Like maybe that's why because teenage Randy's coming through and she says like all the time. See like oh my gosh. Oh, okay, so that's great. This is a great example to show that when these parts of ourselves are coming up, whether it's 4-year-old you or 10-year-old you or 16-year-old you, or it's almost like an emotional flashback where you like all those parts of you, the way she talked or he talked, the way they acted, the way they reacted, the way they handled their emotions, the way they ate, the way they slept. They all come up. They all come up. And I really don't know if I'm making a lot of sense right now. But if I paint a picture, let's say, we're a normal 27-year-old living our day to day life. We go to the gym, we got our shit together, we have jobs, we have a dog, we take him for walks, and then suddenly this week hits you and you don't want to live life the same. You don't want to leave your house. You don't want to leave your bedroom. You don't want to leave your bed. You don't want to brush your teeth. You don't want to go outside. You don't even want to open the curtains. And you just want to drown yourself in Netflix and Amazon Prime. And you wouldn't normally watch TV series, but all of a sudden you're like, yeah, let's just watch the whole series, every season, one go, boom. And then you do it with another one, and you're like, what the is going on? And all of a sudden you're saying like a lot, and you're talking differently, and you're swearing, and then you're like eating spoonfuls of peanut butter before bed, and you're in deep need of sugar for no apparent reason other than you just want sweet treats for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if I recall, there is a part of me, the teenage part of me, most definitely, that just lived on Fruit Loops. She didn't give a shit. And and so I've been navigating similar feelings this past week. and I've spoken to a friend that is also navigating similar feelings. And she's like, yeah, it's all coming up from when I was a teenager, and there could be trauma in there. There could be emotional dysregulation. There could be, so many hormonal imbalances, which I've also been experiencing, funny enough, which is funny because it's like a chemical imbalance in the body, right? A hormone imbalance. And then you get the symptoms, right? I get like the chin acne, and so it's like all of these things, all of these symptoms of being a teenager, of going through puberty, are present in my life or have been present in very recent past. And when I finally realized that, oh, teenage me that didn't have the tools, the resources, the safe space, the capability to just stay in bed and move through the transition that she was moving through, going from child to young adult, is calling for that now. She's coming through now because she has the time, she has the safe environment, she has the tool, there's the resources to move through that part of whatever it is, whether we want to call it puberty or just transition, at the capacity that she actually needed to, which was just to binge watch movies or just just sloth, right? She just needed to sloth, and she didn't get to sloth. She didn't get to sloth because you had to go to school and you have to do this and you have to do this and you have to do things that you don't want to do in life, and you have to follow the rules because you live under my roof, and if you don't follow the rules, you go live under your dad's roof, and then under dad's roof you just adopted some kind of addiction and completely ignored the transition that you were going through. I'm speaking to myself. And hi. This is Blue. He is our snuggle companion along these journeys. Um, what's up, buddy? He needs more blankie, more blue blankie. Oh, I didn't realize you guys couldn't see him. There he is. And so these parts of ourselves that are becoming present at times, we have no idea about for the most part. I wasn't aware that when I threw a really random temper tantrum that it was 4 years old Randy having her moment that she didn't get to have. And if we move through life with this awareness that these younger versions of ourselves that maybe didn't get seen and didn't get heard and didn't get loved and didn't feel safe to express and be as they were, as they needed to be, they put up shields, they put up walls, they put up all the protection mechanisms to not feel those things because they weren't in a place where they felt safe enough or whatever that was. And now at 20 or 25 or 30 or 35 or 40 or 45 or 50 or 55 or 60 or 65, whenever that part of yourself feels safe enough and ready to put the walls down and come up. Are you rotating? Oh no, rub my belly, he says. No, we don't puke on camera, please. Just a burpee. They come up whenever, and this is actually goes hand in hand with what I provide, or is what I call soul sessions, because that is where we create a safe enough container for these parts of ourselves to come through, to come up, to be allowed. And we don't force them, but we hold the space long enough for whatever wants to be heard and seen, if it feels ready, to be heard and seen. And this is something that everybody can do on their own. However, it is often easier done, right? When you think of what therapy is, that's what it is. It's somebody holding space for somebody else to let stuff come up. And um and so these things come up unannounced. They come up at random. It feels like it's probably not random. It's probably incredibly synchronistic, actually. And just like me shaving my head and moving through what feels like physical puberty with my hair, and also moving through, there's all some significant like puzzle pieces clicking together as to why it's coming up for me at this point in my reality. And all parts of my reality are actively congruent to what's being expressed and what's coming up. Like I've been feeling, I feel ugly, I look like a boy. These are all thoughts that I would have had as a teenager. um I'm experimenting with like makeup and nails and different clothing. Like I'm rediscovering myself all over again. And so it's really funny to be moving through this process for what feels like a second time, but with conscious awareness that oh, these are the parts of me that didn't get heard, that didn't get seen, that didn't get expressed because they didn't have that space to do it, or they didn't have the tools and resources um, to know how to do it, right? I don't think, or at least to my awareness, in my generation, I think I'm a millennial. Oh no, maybe I'm Gen X, Z. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what they are. I know I'm not a baby boomer. That's it. That's all I know. But I don't think most of us had awareness, collective awareness, if that, to be like, this is a very potent transformational time in your life, moving from childhood to um, adult or young adult. And if we look at other cultural practices like Polynesian and um, like even Mexican, there's Mexican cultures that have some kind of what's that? Is it Greek where they do the quinceañera? There's some kind of celebratory transition, right? Sweet 16. But in the Americas, I think your Sweet 16 was just like a really big party to make yourself feel like important, or I don't know. I don't know. Don't I'm I'm not educated in this in the world. All I knew is by the time I was 16, I was way past sweet. And I was like what felt like a full-grown adult helping a parent pay mortgage and also just like super mind absent-minded and and just ignorant to problems. And if problems came up, I would become even more ignorant. Anyways, so say, you're moving through some experience in life where you were like, damn, I thought I had it all together. I thought I had it all figured out. And then suddenly you're moving through like what feels like the thick of the mud. Um, I would invite you to question if that mud or that whatever that challenge is that is coming up internally and is seemingly manifesting itself externally as well, is 15-year-old you or 5-year-old you. And don't get me wrong, like I don't remember this part of me. I can throw bits and pieces together and be like, well, maybe. But when I say this feels like 16-year-old me that just wants to be loved and heard and expressed, and that resonates as truth for me. And so you know, like we don't have to dissect the past to extreme extents to know. You can just be like, wow, that would make so much sense. And that feels like that's what this is. This feels like it's just 16 or 15 or 12-year-old me that grew up too fast and didn't get to go through the transition with all the feelings she was feeling. And, some of those feelings are depression. Some of those feelings, I don't think like suicide ideation is um like across the board part of it, but it definitely was for that part of transition in my life. And so I have this theory or this thought that came to mind while I thought about this talk this morning. And it was, what if, just like when we're really young and our brains are sponges, from whatever ages till 6, or, birth till 6, what if we go through that same process, going through this transitory, like, puberty period of life? And what if at that time, all that surrounds you is that you don't look like the magazine, and you don't look like, and you don't have the friends like the popular girl, and you don't, or this is what society has painted for a teenage girl, especially um in my from what I've only experienced, right, which is my generation, that say we're going through this transition period and our brain is a sponge, and we're also like seeking high and low for some sort of comfort because it's so uncomfortable. Yet everything outside of you is telling you that you're not enough, you're not pretty enough, you don't look like the models, you don't look like the magazines, you don't act like the movie characters. You're too much, you're too loud, you feel too big, and this is across the board for, I think, boys and girls, men and women. However it resonates for you, right? Leave it if it doesn't resonate, take it if it does. I'm not telling you to believe in anything that I believe in, or that there is a right or wrong, but if it resonates as truth for you, this could definitely be something that helps free up whatever energy is being consumed by not knowing or not having the awareness. So I guess the takeaway is to let it be heard with all the compassion, love, maybe a little bit of curiosity in there, to just be like, hey, okay, we're feeling a little effed up right now. Hmm. One of the questions a friend of mine would say is, how old is this part of me? How old are you? And when I ask myself that question, she goes 12. And I say, what do you need? A hug. Most of the time when I ask these parts of myself, they always respond with a hug, which is really makes my eyes well up with tears, because it makes me realize that all of these parts of ourselves that just were feeling so much and moving through so much through all of life, transitory happenings, just wanted to be allowed and held, whereas we grow up in a society, in a culture, and at least I'm in North America, Canada, so that's all I know, and is the reference point of experience that I'm speaking from. She got told to suck it up, Buttercup. She got told to, like, I had to be the big sister. I had to, I like, there wasn't, it didn't feel like there was room for me to fall apart. And I think when she says she needs a hug, it's just that. Like, I just need to be allowed. And it feels so true to me that that's all these feelings ever needed, was a hug, was just like acceptance. Whereas everything, if I look at, the majority of how things were handled, maybe in my family and many other families and in schools and, just the system in general, it was, it wasn't to hold space for the difficulty you were navigating. It was to just harden through it. And that's pretty devastating. Sorry, I didn't realize we were going to get so deep today. Um, but I suppose, you know, if you've been with me before, what happens often in these conversations is I end up holding a collective space for a collective suffering of sorts, that many of us have or are experiencing, and and just allowing it room to breathe. This is my hug. This is my hug to all the parts of myself that didn't get the space and just weren't allowed to be and exist, which are what we classify as negative emotions, which are the most required ones to be held and have a safe space to just exist, right? Because we don't want to feel negative emotions. Like, those are bad. They lower your frequency, blah, blah, blah. No. Feeling your negative emotions. Okay, let's just classify them as just emotions. Let's not even like label positive, negative. No, how about just emotions? Emotions want to be felt. And when they are felt with a loving hug, which requires compassion, allowance, resistantlessness, don't know if that's a word, but it is in my vocabulary. And they pass through. It's like an ever-flowing river. Emotions are just this ever-flowing river through us. And they just come through. Oh, hello, anger. Rah. Bye-bye, anger. You know, it doesn't mean reacting is okay. It doesn't mean, but but we can appropriately express and acknowledge and feel. We can appropriately hold space, which we're seeing so much more nowadays, and it's absolutely beautiful to see that evolution, because we need it now more than ever. And so, mm, yeah, I just feel a lot of stillness and like quiet space being held right now. So for whoever is here with me holding this space, or even having space held for them or these parts of themselves, thank you. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for allowing yourself to be in this space, because I know it's hard. I know it's uncomfortable. It is. It's totally uncomfortable to meet yourself in these sensitive places. And but it is truly truth. It is sitting with truth, and like they always say, the truth will set you free. And I wholeheartedly am here for it. Here for it all. You know, and okay, so let's bring into the conversation that maybe you're navigating these feelings and you don't necessarily feel like you have the tools or resources to handle them, or these parts of yourself that may be coming up. And perhaps that is because, oh, sorry, where am I going with this? I'm distracted. There's a car pulling in the driveway. It's my neighbor. Um, Perhaps what is required is just this space, and also this is something that I'm a strong advocate for, is just taking it if it resonates, right? I've always said it. I keep saying it. I've always said it. And you know, some of us might feel called to go to therapy, some of us might feel called to go uh to a nutritionist, some of us might feel called to go to a doctor. There's no wrong answer. There is no wrong answer, and there is no one direction that fits all. There is no one size fits all. If you feel compelled to go to a doctor, then absolutely go to a doctor. If you feel compelled to go to a nutritionist, then absolutely go to a nutritionist. These are definitely like that. That's the inner compass, and that's going to be my next video, is how to listen to that inner compass. So if you're watching this, go check that one out if you're not quite sure how to feel into, you know, what it is that you need, or what it is that is best for um allowing and nourishing these parts of you that are coming up. or feelings or emotions, or even if it isn't 16-year-old you and it's just you navigating this moment, and it's, sometimes um like huge anxiety will come up for me, and like this same friend that I mentioned previously, Rachel Geek, she makes medicine music. Please go check her out. Absolute amazing human being. And yeah, her music is therapy in itself. And so beautiful segue, because maybe that part of you just needs music. But what she had said to me once is, when she feels this anxiety, it's almost like it is an ungrounded energy. And to ground, she just would like eat root vegetables. And I found that, yeah, stuffing my face full of carrots when I felt like extreme anxiety actually helped. Um, and so that's kind of a funny thing, but just it's just that, like, there's no one size fits all. And so there could just be funny things like that, where your body is like, I crave carrots today, or I absolutely need a morning shower even though I normally shower at night, or I feel like I should go for a sauna, right? These little ideas pop into our head, and I often feel like that is what our inner compass, um as a really weird example, like I've had some struggles in with business lately, and I'm navigating again, like, another transition in what feels like a puberty phase, and growing pains of starting a business and becoming an independent, doing my YouTube and my passion projects. And I'm DJing my first set for the first time, even though I've been a DJ in my house for 6 years, but I've never taken it on stage. And so um I'm totally trailing. Yeah. There are these No, there are these parts of myself. I just built it. Um so I need like a softener. That's where I was going. I needed like a I and a thought came into my mind that was like, maybe I should see if like the old restaurant I used to work at needs some extra help. Um because it could support me financially and whatever. However, like the ego part of me is like, no, you're a business owner. You you don't do that anymore. Like, you don't work for people, or you don't. And but just that little thought of saying like, hey, maybe this could be like a good support during my transition periods. And sure enough, I had this little thought, and then I hit a breaking point where, the pressure of the diamond, you know, um, one of those moments. And I was like, fuck it. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna send her a text. And sure enough, they're happy to have me come back. And I just feel better. And it doesn't make any sense at all. But for some reason, it's a part of the next step on my path. And that's just really, I think, a beautiful place to come to acceptance, and come to like realize and accept and allow to just be, is because we don't have, the path is really not how we think it is. It's not how we were taught that it is. You don't, go from kindergarten to grade 12 to up the ladder. Boom, I'm a rich doctor. Like, yeah, that's what the system taught us it was. But that's not how life works. Let's be real. Life is, life is, oh, it's more like this forever. And if we just realize, and if you even think about it, like, that's how things vibrate. That's how, like, atoms in our body, they bounce. Boing, 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 boing. Maybe that's just life. We just bounce. Boing, boing, boing. It's a dance. You hit highs and you hit lows and you hit highs again. Like, I don't think there's ever supposed to be a point where you're just like flatlining on the ceiling. I am, I think those, like, sure, like, things can get really freaking good, but there's still going to be those little Boing, 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 boing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking nonsense, but it resonates for me. It makes sense too. And it makes me feel better to know that it doesn't have to be any other way. And I don't have to like force it or be hard on myself because I didn't hit the mountaintop. Um, Everything is resetting and all of my power was off. Did I just not have power like that whole time and had no idea because I'm running on a laptop battery? Huh, that's cool. I don't know. Everything's beeping over there. Maybe that's a sign. Where was I? Yeah, just let yourself bounce. Bounce between life. Yeah, and then we don't have to be so hard on ourselves when we hit a little rough patch. We just go, oh, hi, what do you need? How old are you? I need a hug. I'm 5. Oh, come here. Let's hug it out. Watch a cartoon. A lot of my inner child and like younger versions of myself, teenage versions of myself are they revert to like TV a lot because I think that's where her safe place was. Um, despite what was going on in the world, that was where all the noise stood still and quieted, and she could just sit in front of her little like black and white radio TV. It was like this big, and I would sit this close to it and just like, no wonder I'm cross-eyed. Sit in front of the TV, but 3 inches away. mm, yeah, what a beautiful space to hold. Thank you so much if you've been here with me. I really, really appreciate it. I appreciate all your likes and your shares and your subscribes. It means the world to me. This is truly my passion, is to come into this space and hold this collective, this safe collective, sacred mm, space to just exist and breathe into. And your support and love and comments and shares and stories make it so much more worthwhile. Um, because not only do I need this for me, but I need to do this for the world. Because it's the calling in my bones, in my bloodstream, in my heart and soul. And I can't stop it anymore. So thank you for receiving what I have to give, because it makes it, I need it to be received. I need it to be received. I mean, I don't need it, but I do. I need, to give without being received is like to exhale without an inhale. And yeah, I just appreciate all of you so so much. And yeah, I can't say it enough how beautiful it is to be creating a community around such vulnerable, sensitive, real, authentic me and my voice. And you are all the reason that sharing my voice feels so good. Feels so good. And bringing my little my cockatoo madness. Y'all are on the hair journey with me too. You get to watch it grow, and that's kind of fun. I love that. Well, I'm just rambling now. I think I'm going to end it here. I was kind of waiting to see if anything else would come through. Um, and I'm yeah, I love you all so much. So much. And if you want to learn how to tap into your inner guided system, look for that video. It's going to be down below somewhere on my channel. Maybe I can link it. Love you all so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time, your energy, and all of your love and support. Till next time, many blessings.